Hey everybody, it's me, Eric, aka Gingerino. I'm just putting out this mini-sode as a sort of PSA to give you guys an update on some news regarding the podcast and its future. Recently, I got accepted into an internship position for an instructor in an outdoor leadership program. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm very excited to be a part of this. What it has to do with the podcast, however, is that it's a 4-month-long program starting in May and ending at the end of August. Since it's in the Rockies and I'm going to be in and out of cell service all the time when we're doing training, I'm not going to have a lot of access to the internet. And since it's such an intensive program, I'm not going to have a lot of time to record or edit podcast episodes. And what little time I do get for relaxation and for breaks, I need to use strategically so that I have a rested mind and body for training and other programming down the road. On top of it, because of local COVID bylaws, I'm not actually able to leave to go to a place where I would have good internet that I could upload an episode to. So I can't actually guarantee that I would be able to even upload an episode if I was to make one. I have some ways of going around this, but I can't confirm whether or not they'll work. So the solution that I've decided to go with is to record and edit like a madman. And I've managed to get enough content for you guys up until the end of June. So I have episodes recorded, edited, and ready in the barrel to fire off from now through May and all through June. I have stuff recorded for July and a little bit for August, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit all of those in time. My aim is to do that, but worst case scenario, over the couple months in the summer, the podcast might go silent for a bit, returning in September when I arise from the mountains. That's all I wanted to share with you guys is what's going on. And I got enough content for you guys for a couple more months. Hopefully I can get some more for you after that. I'm super excited about this program and it's going to be awesome. I'll be on my phone because there is data available. So I'll still be able to talk to people. If you want to have conversations or check in or anything like that, you can reach me on Twitter at World of Eora or reach me via email, worldofaora@gmail.com. Now, it wouldn't be fair of me to put out this little mini-sode and not give you guys at least some lore in the world. And so I'm going to take just a little sneak peek at one of the more interesting and I guess in a way vital sides of Eora, specifically the calendar year and the week. Because this world of Eora doesn't run on a Sunday to Saturday 24 hours a day cycle. It's a fantasy world. It's got its own calendar and everything. So I figured let's go over that. Let's see what it's got. So the calendar year at Pillars of Eternity times is referred to as Annie Oricchio. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's named after this person, Annie Oricchio, and it's designated AI. This person was a Valian researcher and inventor. He studied the stars and the cycles of seasons, and this is the calendar he came up with. Or is it she? Oh, I'm not really sure. It is based on the old Eoran calendar, which we never see in game, but apparently was not very good. It wasn't very reliable. And this new calendar, which is the official calendar by the time you play Pillars of Eternity, is what we have here. We don't know whether or not this calendar will be used in Avowed. If we find out before Avowed is released whether or not this calendar is used in Avowed, then we can tell you this. Then that means that this game, Avowed, will take place after the year 2680 AI. Let's dive into what this is. According to Oricchio's observations, Eora has 334 days, each of about 27 hours. He took the old Eoran calendar, which was, I think, 9 or 10 months, and he broke that away, and he instead divided it into 16 months of 20 days each. So if you're keeping track so far, 16 months of 20 days each, that's 320 days. So there's still 14 days that are not accounted for. So you have 16 months, each of them being 20 days. Nice symmetry all around. He divides it this way because it divides the seasons equally. There's still the 4 main seasons, which are summer, winter, spring, and fall. Now, if the seasons are all equal in length, that would mean each season is about 4 months long, each month having 20 days, so that would be 80 days per season. He goes a little bit further on this. At the end of each season, he has a 3-day period set apart for the transition from one season to another. It's meant to be a time of celebration and recognizing the transition from one season to another. So for the 4 seasons, with 3 days between each season, that accounts for 12 more days. You'll remember I mentioned that we had 14 days to account for. We've accounted for 12 now, so there's still 2 days left over. What Eorizio does with those 2 days is he creates a New Year's Day, and he has a mid-year day of the year. So he's got these 2 days that are equidistant apart from each other, one at the start and one at the middle. And so that is how the contemporary Eoran calendar works. It starts off with the New Year's Day, and that's 1 day. It then moves into deep winter and into late winter. From there, there's a 3-day transition called spring dawn as we transition into spring. Spring consists of early, mid, deep, and late spring. Those are the 4 months. So you have the month of early spring, the month of mid-spring, the month of deep spring, and the month of late spring. After that, we have a 3-day transition into summer. We have early summer, midsummer, and then before we reach deep summer, that's when we hit the mid-year mark. So now we have the mid-year day. Then we have deep summer and late summer, and we have the 3 days transitioning to fall, or autumn, I guess. It follows suit after that. Between autumn and winter is winter dusk. That's the 3-day transition from there to there. And winter goes from early to mid to deep to late, with the New Year Day being between midwinter and deep winter. Now, that sounded like a lot. I just sort of threw a whole bunch of words at you, and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Here is the quick summed up version of that. Every single season has 4 months in it. Each of those 4 months are called early season name, mid-season name, deep season name, and late season name, followed by a 3-day transition period into the next season. There's the New Year at the start and New Year in the middle. And those 2 days are right in the middle of winter and summer, respectively. Now, for those of you who are really into the lore and you want to get into the actual names of these months, I'll rattle them off for you quick. Starting at the New Year, we have the first month, which is deep winter, and that's called Foniverno. And judging off of the next month, late winter, which is called Terriverno, I'm guessing that Verno means winter. After the 3-day transition into spring, we have these 4 months, starting with early, going through mid, deep, and late. It is Prima, Majprima, Fonprima, and Tarprima. So pre being early, Maj being mid, that might be May, I can't really tell for sure because it's a J, I don't know how they pronounce it. Deep being Fon, and late being Tar. And spring is obviously Prima. After that, we have Inestu, which is the 3-day period between spring and summer. Summer has the 4 months Praestu, Majestu, Fonestu, and Terrestu. Then we have the 3-day transition from summer into autumn called Inautumn. Then the 4 months for the season of autumn are Praeautumn, Majautumn, Phonautumn, and Terrautumn. So you can see that they have the prefix, which means either early, mid, deep, or late, and then they have the word meaning the actual season they're in. So it's a really logical and thought out calendar. It's kind of reasonable, really. Like there's no flair to it. It's got, this is the point in which we are in the season, and this is the season that we are in. Everything has its own unique name, but you're able to tell what it is based on the prefix and the name itself. Moving into the transition from autumn to winter, winter dusk, which is called Iniverno. We enter into the last 2 months of the year, early winter and midwinter, which is Preverno and Magiverno. And so there you have it. You have the 4 prefixes, early through late, which is Pre, Maj, Fon, and Tar. And then you have the 4 seasons, which are Prima, Estu, Autumn, and Verno. You mix the prefix with the certain season, and you have the month name. After that, what do we have left to talk about? Actually, just the days of the week. Since each month is comprised of 20 days, and a week we find out is 5 days, then that means each month has 4 weeks in it. Kind of like our own months, except this is exact. Every month has exactly 4 weeks in it. And these are the 5 days. And as far as I can tell, they're based off of Eoran language because they got the Eoran letters to them. And in fact, I think it's actually Eldaderan, so an ancient derivative of the Eoran language. And these are the 5 days we have. Godandag, which is a contraction of God's Day, followed by Conyngsdag, which means King's Day, followed by Majprima, which is Illustrious Queen or Consort's Day, followed by Volksdag, which is People's Day, and the last day of the week, Rietlingsdag, which means Children's Day. I find it interesting, first off, because, well, one, we know that Dag means day, and then we kind of learn what the other words mean as well. Like Godan could mean God, and Koning means king, which we kind of know if you remember from previous episodes of me talking about Eoran. They refer to their first king as Fair Koning, and this is Conyngsdag. So, King's Day makes sense. I think this also shows what the priorities are in the Eoran culture, because the first day is God's Day, and then King, then Queen, then the People's Day, and lastly, the Children's Day. I don't know if maybe children are just not regarded that well, or if they're just the bottom of the priority list. Yeah, but no weekends. I don't know how that's worked. Maybe Children's Day is the weekend day. Maybe that's why it's Children's Day, because even the kids are having fun. Maybe the parents are as well. I don't know. But there you have it. You have the year broken down into its months and seasons and the 5 days of each week. That's all I have for today. I know that was a little dense of a lore tidbit. Feel free to rewind and listen to that one again if it was hard to follow. But there you go. That is the calendar for the Pillars of Eternity games, including the months and the weeks. And remember, pay attention as we are drip-fed information about Avowed. If you recognize any of these words, or they come up at all in any reveal trailers or any sort of information about the game, that'll tell us that it's more of a contemporary game, because this calendar is relatively new. You know, in the long run of history, it's relatively new. The Pillars of Eternity game takes place in the 2800s, and this calendar was only made in the late 2600s. So that will actually give us a big hint as to when Avowed is taking place. So keep an eye out for that. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Thanks, guys, for joining me on this episode, this little PSA and mini lore episode. If you want to reach out to me, again, you can reach me on Twitter at World of Eora, or email me worldofaora@gmail.com. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time. I'll keep you updated.